Welcome to 100 miles of magnificent Georgia coastline. Here at the edge where the land meets the sea, we in the United States Coast Guard help protect our nation's vital interest. It's not an easy job. There is a long, proud history that gives heroic meaning to living life on the edge. As the oldest continuous seagoing service, originally called the Revenue Cutter Service, the Coast Guard began under Alexander Hamilton as part of the Treasury Department in 1790. Our motto, Semper Paratus, always ready, and we are. We serve around the clock and around the world. The Coastal Georgia Historical Society is proud to welcome you to the Maritime Center at the historic Coast Guard Station. When it was built, Station St. Simons was located at the water's edge, just 30 feet from the front door of the station itself. But the edge has moved, not the station. As sand shifted and the beach grew, the station's rescue boats had to be moved, first to the Frederica River, and later to their current location on Plantation Creek. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, this Roosevelt-era Coast Guard station was a WPA project. Commissioned in 1937, Station St. Simons is one of only 3 left standing out of the 40 that were built with the same design throughout the United States.
I was in the Coast Guard 10 and a half years. I don't know how it was that I stood the first tower watch. I think we had 11 men assigned. Elijah G. Tillett was the skipper. All he had to do is mention anything, and that was just like law. At the dedication, we had what they called the Breeches buoy drill. It was a simulation of rescuing a person off a ship that was disabled.
Simulations are a vital part of the continuous training it takes to give men and women the edge they need when facing life-threatening emergencies. Coasties have a saying, you have to go out, but you don't have to come back. Semper Paratus, always ready. The supreme test of Coast Guard readiness began when everything changed on Sunday morning, December 7th. Pearl Harbor shocked the world. It didn't take long for the folks of Glenn County to pitch in. People associated with the military and civilian war efforts flocked to the area. The Coast Guard was made part of the Navy for the duration. The King and Prince Hotel, first opened in the 1930s, became a radar training school as well as living quarters for many of the naval personnel stationed in the area. The Malcolm McKinnon Airfield was turned over to the Navy and became home base for a carrier of torpedo bombers. The Navy base at Glencoe on the mainland was a major lighter-than-air base. Blimps, aircraft, and land-based radar were all used to monitor Georgia's coast. At peak production, the J.A. Jones shipyards could produce a 416-foot Liberty ship in just 105 days. The Coast Guard's mission was to report all activities along the coast, north to Hilton Head and south to Cumberland Island. Miles of sand dunes, swamps, beaches, rocky areas, inlets, and rivers needed eyes and ears, and the Beach Patrol was organized to meet the challenge. When the Coast Guard Command sent Tennessee walking horses that proved unable to run or walk on the beaches, a local coastie started a program to capture and train wild marsh ponies. He knew that these tough ponies could handle the uneven land, the severe weather, and the long hours of hard service. Protecting our Atlantic coast was more vital to the war effort than many Americans realized. Few knew that all along our eastern coast, merchant ships were being sunk within sight of the beach. From 1939 to 1945, we lost close to 800 ships and 5,000 American merchant seamen. On April 8, 1942, when 2 American tankers were torpedoed by the German submarine U-123 off St. Simons Island, the Coast Guard sprang into action. Only 3 men from the SO Baton Rouge and 19 men from the SS Oklahoma were lost. The ships put into harbor for repair and later returned to service. After World War II, the Coast Guard was released by the Navy to resume its more traditional role of law enforcement and search and rescue. The St. Simons Coast Guard Station was decommissioned in 1995 in favor of a spot more convenient to the Brunswick Shipping Channel. The United States Coast Guard may be the smallest armed service we have, but in these troubled times, our work has assumed even more importance. In addition to these life-saving activities, we still maintain intercoastal and offshore aids to navigation. We also protect our coastal environment from pollution. And because we serve here at our nation's edge, our service has been attached to the Department of Homeland Security. We still train hard. We still save lives. Our traditions remain solid. We still serve around the clock, and now around the world. These are the faces of your United States Coast Guard. Remember our motto, Semper Paratus, always ready.